Extraordinary, Roman mosaic found in Rutland farmer's field, with scenes from Iliad.
Here's a summary of the article.
His curiosity, aided by some search engine satellite images and a shovel, has resulted in Britain's most important Roman mosaic discovery in at least a century. The 77 square meters mosaic, housed in what would have been a substantial Roman villa complex, is the first of its kind found in Britain and one of only a handful of examples known in the world. Following a small amount of further excavation, Mr. Irvine and his father, Brian, uncovered tiles depicting the red hat of King Priam, one of figures in the mosaic. The Iliad was written 1,000 years earlier, and its depiction in a late Roman-era mosaic is unusual. John Thomas, Deputy Director of Leicester University Archaeological Services, which oversaw the excavations, said, "This is certainly someone with a knowledge of the classics and the wealth to commission a piece of this sort of scale. It is a very dynamic work. I can imagine the owner walking around the room, talking his guests through the story of Hector and Achilles. It is certainly the most exciting Roman mosaic find in Britain for a century and in terms of its completeness, quite possibly unique." Richard Clark, county archaeologist for Leicestershire and Rutland, who was one of the first to view Mr. Irvine's initial find, said, "This has been the most extraordinary of discoveries. The villa, its mosaic and the surrounding complex is the most outstanding find in the recent archaeological history of Rutland, placing the county on a national and international stage. Although remarkably intact compared to other examples, the mosaic is pocked with areas of fire damage and fractures which suggest the site was repurposed for a period after the Roman era before falling into disuse and eventually being forgotten until Mr. Irvine's Summer's Day walk."
This post received a score of 2,000, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Greater than experts say the artwork is the most significant Roman mosaic find in a century. What a fun time to be an archaeologist.
Imagine how happy future archaeologists will be when they dig up the archaeologists that found this mosaic.
Does the farmer get some kind of compensation if he can no longer use the field?
Yeah, kudos and upvotes, but otherwise the article doesn't mention any financial compensation.
There are provisions for compensation. There are a lot of different laws and rules and regulations, each situation is different.
Does he have to pay for the archaeologist and their work? That's how it is in Norway, and given the value of potential findings, I find it hilariously backwards when it has national historic value. I inherited a small patch of land through my big extended family. We were shown massive cost estimates for diggings, including excavator rental and shit if more was found, as the nearby developed land had findings. That was on top of millionaire industry families having political positions to get cheap land to develop, etc.
Greater than does he have to pay for the archaeologist and their work? It's like they don't want people to declare fines because it might cost them a bit of cash, lol.
A story deemed so important that some of the biggest empire throughout history decided to keep handing it down, and we find it when a British gentleman goes on a walk. Pretty amazing. Go, Homer asks, go.
I love old mosaics. It's just beautiful.
It's crazy how things like this get buried over time. Like, did no one notice a gorgeous mosaic slowly being grown over?
Greater than like, did no one notice a gorgeous mosaic slowly being grown over? Small population. There was presumably a stone villa built above the mosaic, but abandoned buildings were knocked down and the stones used to build other buildings. A mosaic's much harder to move, so would just be left. For a long time people sued to think that after the Romans left, the UK just sank back into barbarism, but it's completely untrue.
It's gorgeous.
So fucking awesome. I hope they excavate this entire area to find more stuff from this period.
Of course, it could be a very dry parody of the Iliad, but we don't get the jokes.
It is incredible. Great article with awesome pictures for once. Thank you for posting this.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.